Gravid Sports Show.
What's happening, party people? Welcome to the Adam Gravid Sports Show. This is Jack. Say hello, Adam.
What's going on, motherfuckers? This is gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a motherfucking big one.
You promised me you would not swear, and you broke that in 3 seconds.
No, I lied. I lied.
You
so
lied.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you listen to this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast and you have kids,
Headphones.
Probably get them away from this.
Headphones, Timmy.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Headphones, Timmy.
Get them away.
Headphones,
Get them away.
Timmy.
Yep.
Headphones. All right. So those of you who've been living under the rock for the last couple days, you may be aware that the college football playoff selection committee.
Don't call it the college football playoff selection. Call it the college football invitational, asshole. But go on.
Okay. The invitational selection squadron selected 4 teams.
That's correct.
2 of those teams are one-loss teams affiliated with the SEC, and a team that was left out of the mix was the undefeated Florida State Seminoles, who went 13-0, defeated multiple teams who were ranked on the road, including teams in the SEC.
That's correct.
A lot of folks are hiding behind the Jordan Travis injury. However, you dig deeper and deeper into this story. There's more to this story. So, Adam, let's begin with the concept that Florida State is a damaged team without their star starting quarterback.
Yeah, let me answer that full on for you, Jack. They are a different team without their quarterback. Well, no fucking shit. They're a different team without their quarterback. I got a question for you, Jack. J.J. McCarthy from big old Michigan. How's he been looking this whole season, Jack?
He is, despite all the hype around him, his stats and his performance is actually underwhelming, to be honest with you.
So I'm going to tell you something, Jack. In the last week, this past Saturday, when we played Louisville, and we had 219 yards of offense, Jack.
Yeah.
You know how many yards Big Bad Michigan had in their game against Iowa?
Michigan had 213 yards of offense. J.J. McCarthy was a paltry 147 yards, got sacked 4 times.
This is fucking bullshit what the goddamn committee did. You do not tell a group of 85 fucking players that they are not good enough to compete in the college football invitational, because that's what it is, because one player is out. Why did Jared Verse come back to Florida State, Jack? Why did Johnny Wilson come back to Florida State, Jack? Why did Keon Coleman transfer to Florida State, Jack, for a chance at a national fucking title? Yeah. And 13 assholes on a committee said you're not good enough to compete because we don't think you can win a game. Let me ask you a goddamn question, Jack.
Yes.
Last year, did anybody think TCU had a shot against Michigan?
No one thought they had a shot.
What happened to that game, Jack?
TCU won. That's why you play the games, right?
Yeah. Now another question for you, Jack. Washington, were they a 9-point underdog against Oregon?
They were.
Yeah, guess what happened, Jack?
They won by 3.
There you go. Was Alabama an underdog, Jack?
They were.
Yeah. Did they win?
They won by 3.
So don't fucking tell me that my school can't win. First off, how do you know? How the fuck do you know that Florida State can't win?
We don't.
This is the most disgusting, despicable thing I have ever seen in any level of sports.
Yeah.
Any level of sports. It was gross. Their reasoning is bullshit. The worst part about it is the ACC commissioner had no balls. He fucking did not come. He did not do anything, Jack. He did nothing. He didn't go on any of the shows to campaign for Florida State. The committee chairman is a NC State AD. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? I got another stat for you. Do you know there have been 2 times in the playoffs history, and thank fucking God this 4-teamer's done, that an undefeated team has been passed by one-loss teams? You know that we know What years that was, Jack? 2014 and 2023. You know who that team was? The Florida State Seminoles, both fucking times. Do you know that in 2014 they introduced a criterion called game control? Jack, have you ever heard them talk about game control?
Never.
In any other criteria?
Never.
Yeah, you know why they introduced it, Jack, in 2014?
Because Florida
State won a bunch of games coming from behind. And they came up with a bullshit criteria to dock Florida State and move them from 1, because they were the defending national champions, to 3. And this year, by the way, if you go on the little committee criteria, you still don't see injury. And by the way, there are multiple, and I fucking say this, multiple teams that have been in the playoff, Jack, that have played with a backup quarterback.
Yeah. I want to step on that. So the quarterback position, there are plenty of teams throughout the history of football who have won with a sub NFL grade quarterback.
You mean like Greg McElroy?
That's what I was going to. Greg McElroy in his BCS championship game where he played. You know how many yards he had in that game, Gravitz?
Yeah, I do, Jack. That'd be 58
yards passing, QBR of 25. Do you know? Let me ask you a question. What the suggestion by the committee is, let's say Iowa ended up winning the Big Ten. Would they have kept an undefeated Iowa out of the championship? Yes.
These assholes are this is no longer about the most deserving teams. This is no longer about what you do during the season. This is about what ESPN and all those handlers want for the best ratings and what's going to make the most money.
Yeah, it lowers the number of the teams that can win.
Now, I'm going to say something. This is going to be a shocker, Jack. Florida State is an actual fucking brand. The other thing about this fucking decision is they treated Florida State like they're a G5 team or a Mountain West team.
Yeah, American Athletic.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff. You've watched college football your entire life.
Yeah.
Is Florida State one of the teams that you grew up watching?
Yeah, they're a big team that they're one of the iconic teams that you would have said could have won a national championship.
No fucking shit. And these fucking assholes are saying Washington will give you better ratings? How about you go fuck yourselves, committee? Every person on that committee should be forced to resign. Forced to resign. It's a damn good thing that I was not watching this live because I was at the Commanders game. It's a damn good thing I was not watching this thing live.
Get a new TV. The question here is, if you look at it too, if they believe that Florida State was so incapable, then why did they leave them ranked at 5? Why would they not be below Georgia at 6 or even lower?
Glad you brought that one up, Jack, because you know what? If you thought we were the worst fucking team that's ever played football, why the fuck, after the Florida game, did you keep us at 4, you cocksucking pieces of shit?
Yeah.
Tell me!
Right.
Tell me!
And on top,
tell me!
I don't know. And then on top of that, Florida State just came off of a gritty victory against Louisville, who is a top 15 team, had a 10-2 record going into the game.
They were 10-2. That is correct.
And that should be a quality win, right? And I don't see why that was looked down upon.
Wait, Jack. Wait. Don't forget, though. Texas beat big bad Oklahoma State, who had such losses this year as to UCF and South Alabama. Now, I get it. Louisville lost to Pittsburgh and Kentucky. Bad losses.
Losses happen. Look. And one of the things I had heard was that, Louisville looked bad against Florida State because Florida State's defense was playing lights out. And also...
Hey, Jack. Let me ask you a question. Go ahead. Keep on going.
Jack Plummer is averaging 235 yards a game, has 21 touchdowns, has a QB rating of 145, and Florida State made him look like a true freshman quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. When Michigan was shit-pounding everyone, were they saying, oh, no, that's just because, were they saying, oh, it's because, what were they saying? They were crediting Michigan's defense every fucking game. True or false?
Every game, yeah.
But now Florida State, what? They were playing a bad Louisville team? Yeah. Fuck that. No, I'm not going to hear they were playing a bad Louisville team. They went out and beat the crap out of Louisville. That's it. They smashed them. There is something of that. It is not who scores the most points. It is who wins the football game. The College Football Committee has just said your season doesn't matter. I don't care that you scheduled LSU in a home and home. Sorry. In a neutral. Yeah. Because we played them first in New Orleans and then in Orlando. We went to the swamp and won. Is it our fault? So we're getting punished that before the season you think, oh, you're playing at Clemson. We beat Clemson, the 4th team, Jack, in 10 years to win at Clemson. And I don't give a shit if we shouldn't have won or, oh, it was gifted, because guess what? Oh, we're going to get into that later.
Yeah.
We won every game and every challenge that was put in front of Florida State's face. What did they do, Jack?
Didn't care.
They won.
They won, yeah.
And if you go 13-0 and you're passed for two teams that have won, here's the concept, Texas and Alabama, win every game on your schedule. That's it. Texas, maybe you shouldn't have lost to Oklahoma. Shouldn't have lost to Oklahoma, assholes.
I mean, any given year, if you blow out LSU, you beat Clemson at Clemson.
That's correct.
You beat a top 25 Duke team.
At the time, yes. Top 25 at the time.
You beat Miami.
That's correct.
You beat Florida at Florida. And you take down a top 20 Louisville team and win your conference championship. You should make a national championship.
Thank you.
This takes us back to the era when we were younger kids, where a magazine and a newspaper and coaches would just say, I declare this team the champion. And that's where we are again, because they're just deciding these are the four teams that have a chance now. It's a beauty contest. They don't care.
That's exactly what it is. That's all. I heard that from people. That's what Booger McFarland, amazing analyst from ESPN, said. It is no longer who was the most deserving and who was qualified to do it. It is who do we think is going to be the best game. That's it. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, you had a third string quarterback. Bring that up to me one more fucking time about the third string quarterback. Because guess what, you fucking morons. Like Greg McElroy. No, stop. Like Greg McElroy, Dan Orlovsky, Kirk Herbstreit, Stephen A. Smith, all you fucking morons who clearly don't know college football. Sorry, you don't. Tate Rodemaker was going to play in the game.
Yeah.
Is Tate Rodemaker as good as Jordan Travis? Of course he's not. But why are you telling him that he can't win? How the fuck do you know? How do you know that he can't rally the troops to win the game? What? Because we'd be playing Michigan? Oh, that's right. The team that averages 100 points a game? No, they average like 25 points a game.
And they almost lost to Maryland, and they aren't that great. They're not perfect. And in fact, if you look at going back to Ohio State, they won the championship with Cardale Jones at quarterback, who was the third string at the time.
And that's the other thing. Everyone's like, oh, you should have done what Ohio State did. Oh, I'm sorry that my school didn't win 59-0.
Yeah.
So what? If we had won 59-0, you'd have put us in? Are you fucking kidding me?
You played to win the game. It's not style points.
It's not about style points. It's about wins and losses, Jack. When you were growing up, and I was growing up, what were you taught? It doesn't matter if you win by 1 or if you win by 30. A win is a win.
Yep. You got to win the game.
And Florida State got punished. And it's not fair. It's not fair.
And you talked about the viewership. The ACC championship was the fourth highest rated ACC championship of all time, with 7.03 million viewers during the Louisville Florida State game. Yep. So you can't say that they're not a TV draw.
Of course we're a fucking draw. We had 5 games this year that had 5 million viewers. 5 games with 5 million viewers that Florida State was involved in. Don't tell me we're not a draw. Because that's just a bullshit comment. And I don't want to, you know what really pisses me the fuck off?
What's that?
We can't have a playoff without the SEC. Guess what? SEC wasn't all that good this year, Jack. You know what the record of the SEC versus the ACC was this year?
What's that?
4-6. They didn't have a winning record against supposedly shitty ACC.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that just because you're the SEC, that's it, you're in. And bring up the strength of schedule to me. Please bring up strength of schedule. All the SEC does is play each other. And you know what, Jack? You know why the strength of schedule is always so high?
Because they're always overrated.
Don't you notice in the polls? Hold on. Don't you notice in the polls that a school that'll lose 2 games in the first month from the SEC is always ranked for some stupid reason?
Yes. 100%.
And then what happened? Alabama plays them. It's like, oh, well, they beat 20th ranked Ole Miss, who's 2-2, but everybody else has 0 losses or 1 loss in there. But God forbid the SEC has to have a team with 2 losses in there.
Right.
He planted for the SEC to always have a strength of schedule edge over everybody.
Yeah.
It is. Tell me I'm wrong.
Not wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Sounds reasonable. So looking at this, and so other people out there are saying, well, you can just prove everyone wrong by beating Georgia, but you can't because it becomes an exhibition game.
It's an exhibition game, and I'm gonna tell you why that doesn't mean shit. Because both teams are gonna have teams are going to have guys opt out, which they should.
Yeah.
So it's not a full-strength team on either side. And fuck you. You're just going to move the goalpost back on us anyway. If we beat Georgia, it's, well, Georgia wasn't trying and blah, 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 blah. If we lose, you assholes like Kirk Herbstreit will probably jerk off.
You. Yeah.
Kirk Herbstreit like, I told you they weren't ready to do it. So what's the point? We can't win with you anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can't win.
Can't win.
Go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
If you think anything I'm saying is wrong, I want you to call me out.
You're not wrong. It's unfair. And the reality is, looking at the way that the voting progressed, on Saturday, after following the games on Saturday night, the Vegas odds of Florida State making it were like minus 600, I believe, with 85% chance of making it.
85% implied to make it.
And then Alabama had a 35% chance of making it. And then at some point, it obviously flipped, and Alabama made it over Florida State. But nothing changed dramatically in the game, obviously, because it was over.
What happened was ESPN and somebody involved there went to the committee and said, you will put the SEC team in over Florida State. That's it. I don't want to hear anything else. There was collusion. Something happened. You can't tell me I'm wrong. Something happened, Jack. We got fucked. Yes or no?
Yeah. No, you definitely got screwed over.
Why don't you want to bring up? Do you want to bring up any of your that piece of shit Kirk Herbstreit? You want to bring up that one? Go. Bring it up.
We can bring up. So Kirk Herbstreit.
Fucking ass. By the way, biggest Judas there is, and I pray. But go ahead. I just want to. Okay, I'll say this. I pray that next year, when he comes to do Florida State games, I hope they give that Mike Norvell and Florida State University gives them one-word answers for everything. Yo, you want to know about how we're doing? Fine. Don't give him this piece of shit anything. But go ahead, talk about Kirk Herbstreit.
No, Kirk Herbstreit appeared to have a campaign against Florida State going back weeks, which seems unusual.
Why don't you talk about the clip I sent you, Jack, on November 18th? Go. Basically, they were doing college football scenarios on that SEC propaganda show, College Game Day.
Yes.
And they brought up the scenario that ended up happening, an undefeated Big Ten, Florida State goes undefeated, Georgia loses to Alabama, Texas wins theirs, and what's the other thing I'm missing? Georgia, what am I missing?
Yeah, Georgia loses.
Right, Washington wins. Washington wins.
Yeah.
You go undefeated. And this piece, so that he starts pointing to the numbers. He points to 1, 2, whatever. Yeah. And he says, undefeated Big Ten team, absolutely it. He goes right to the Florida State thing, says, I don't know about this one. We got some debate on this one. This was on November 18th, Jack, before Jordan Travis got hurt. He was already putting the wheels in motion to have Florida State not make it.
Right.
And you know what? You should be fired from your job for doing that. You're encouraging. Yes or no? He is blatantly going out of his way to shit on Florida State.
And going back to
or no?
No, definitely. And if you go back to end of October, he tweeted that Florida State needs to just win out, and it doesn't matter about anything else.
What changed, Jack? What changed from the end of October to November 18th? Tell me.
Nothing. And then he followed up and said FSU should win out because of the willingness to play powerhouse programs like LSU and beat them. That was their trump card. And then on November 18th, he did his chaos theory thing with the different scenarios that you talked about. But he suggested that November 28th, getting in without Travis would reduce the playoff to a participation award, which is messed up. And then obviously people were trashing his stats when he was in college.
Well, let me get this straight. So why don't you know what? Why don't you, because by the way, Kirk Herbstreit talking about a participation award. That pile of crap was on the Ohio State team for 4 years, and he was a dog shit quarterback. You want to talk about being on a football team as a participation award? That's a definition of it.
Yeah.
So fuck off, Kirk. Why don't you go to Jared Verse right now, go to his face and say, you guys being in the playoff will be a participation award, and see what he says to you. See that he doesn't crack you in half.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Kirk Herbstreit to talk about it's a participation award if Florida State's in or not, Jack? I'm sorry. Are you out on the field busting your ass? These kids busted their ass through spring practice, summer practice, lifting, playing games every week.
Yep.
Go into class. And and you're reducing us to a participation trophy because our quarterback's not there?
Well, if you stick with that, so if Travis was so significant, then why did he not get a Heisman nomination?
That's another one I've got. Apparently, Jordan Travis is the greatest player to ever play college football, and the rest of my team are basically a bunch of
jabronis,
incompetent morons.
Yeah.
But Jordan Travis wasn't nominated for the Heisman Trophy. Yeah. Oh, because it's the person who has the best stats. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's the most valuable player.
Right. And if he had them as a title contender, and then he goes down and they're no longer a title contender, one could argue that he is the most valuable player.
Also, as I said to you, another thing, Jack, why didn't you put us at number 25 after we played Florida? If you thought we were so incompetent, why did you make us the number 4 team the entire time? We were in the top 4 every week of the playoffs. We did nothing else.
Nothing.
We were in the top 4, yes or no?
Correct.
Every week of the playoffs, we were in the top 4, right?
Yes.
But now you drop us and you make us number 5 over Georgia, who you said is like the greatest thing ever.
Right.
Explain that one, Jack.
Because Alabama beating Georgia was enough to make it in, but Florida State is still better than them somehow, but then not better than they were.
Thank you. Try to make it make sense. Go.
It doesn't.
Try to make it make sense.
It puts your mind in a bottle. And then if you look at it too, if you go back, they're giving them credit for beating Georgia by 3, but then they just came off of beating Auburn on a Hail Mary that they were losing.
By the way, the previous week lost by 3 touchdowns to New Mexico State.
Right. New Mexico State.
You just forget that, though, right, Jack?
Yeah.
Forget the fact that they also had a game earlier in the year that they beat Arkansas, a 4-8 team, by 3 points.
Yeah.
Forget that they played like dog shit against South Florida, who I'm pretty sure didn't make a bowl.
No.
Oh, can you please pull up Big Bad Texas's schedule, Jack?
Yeah, let's look.
Please pull up Texas's schedule.
Okay,
please.
Wait there. Coming up.
Thank you.
Coming up, Texas.
Mm-hmm. And then we're gonna do Washington's after that.
Okay. Let's see.
I want you, when you pull up Texas's schedule, to tell me how many games they won by 3 to 7 points, and you tell me the teams that those were against. Go.
Yeah. All right. They lost to Oklahoma by 4. Okay. And they beat Kansas State by 3.
Kansas State, noted powerhouse, right? Go ahead.
TCU by 3.
TCU, did they make a bowl game, Jack?
I think they had a total collapse of their program.
Who else, Jack?
Those are the close games that they had.
Okay. How about Iowa State? Did they struggle against Iowa State or no? I'm missing that one.
I think they did struggle. They ended up winning 26-16 with an 11-point fourth quarter. So they're
whoa. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
No, I'm saying
so
they
win against.
It's an ugly win.
Okay. You know what I'd like you to do next, Jack?
Yes, sir.
Please pull up Washington Huskies schedule.
All right, coming right up on here, the Washington Huskies.
Yeah. And I'd like you to look at 2 specific games for me when you pull this one up.
Coming right up. Washington. All right, schedule.
And the team's record they played against.
Okay. They defeated Oregon back in week 2.
I don't care about that. Okay, yes, I know they beat Oregon by 3 points.
They beat Arizona State 15-7.
What was Arizona State's final record, Jack?
Arizona State's final record was an illustrious 3-9.
And you know they won 15-7, Jack? It was on a pick 6. I just want to make that clear. How'd they do against Stanford, Jack?
They won 42-33. But again, they scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to bring that home. So there's
and what was Stanford's final record, Jack?
Stanford's final record is 3-9. Another Loxian number there. Your Oregon State, they eked that one out 22-20.
Oregon State finished 8-4, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they eked out a 24-21 win against Washington State.
Who finished what, Jack?
Washington State had an illustrious record of 5-7. Narrowly missing the bowl games.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I'm not giving Washington any style points, but again,
but does Washington get their shit? Do they get looked at like we did?
No, I mean if you look at their especially their out of conference schedule,
they beat fucking Oregon twice. That's all they had their hat on is Oregon.
No, and if you look into like they beat a really bad Michigan State team, they blew out a mediocre Tulsa team.
Cool.
And then and then they beat USC.
Great.
With a 10-point fourth quarter.
again, the goalposts continue to get moved and moved and moved and moved for Florida State. But all these other teams are not. They're not fucking worthy. I'm sorry. No. Don't tell me Washington. I don't know. You have anything else to like? I'm.
No, I mean, look. If you look, as I said previously, if you tell me that team defeated a top 5 LSU on neutral field,
Yes, they were top 5 at the time.
at the time. You win in Death Valley at Clemson. You beat a top 25 Duke team at the time. You defeat Miami and Florida on the road, and you win your conference title and don't lose any games.
Oh, and by the way, I got another fun one for you. I got another fun stat for you.
Yeah.
Do you know that I read that they lied for the Florida? If Jordan Travis was healthy against Louisville, it would have been Florida State -9. So we fucking still covered the spread without him.
Yeah.
We covered the spread without him, Jack.
You did, and if you again just thinking about it, let's make a time machine, go back 25, 30 years. What would have happened normally is Florida State would have played in the Orange Bowl, right?
Sure.
Let's pretend. Let's say it's like 1999.
Yeah, sure. Well, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Florida State would have played in the Orange Bowl against Alabama, right?
Okay.
And then if they had won, they would be declared the national champion by the AP.
Some shit like that. Or maybe.
So I guess what we've come to is that in this last iteration of the 4-team elite invitational, they've kind of
do not call it a playoff. Do not call it a playoff.
I call it the invitational. In the last iteration of the way it is, the 4 teams, they've done the worst at it.
And not only that, they have screwed over Florida State both times, in the beginning and in the end. Did in 2014, did in 2023.
So we're transitioning next year to 12 teams.
By the way, can I just say another thing?
Yeah.
Did it ever make sense to have a 4-team playoff when you have 5 Power 5 conferences?
It does not, because someone's getting left out.
How about this, Jack? This would have been much easier. A 6-team playoffs.
There's a bye week for the one teams.
The first 2 get a bye, and then 3 play 6 and 4 plays 5, Jack.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that would have been good. However, now they're moving to 12. So now we're going to have people being upset in the...
No, you'll never... Okay, yes, people will
It's not
bitch
going
and
to
moan
be the same level. It's going to be like NCAA March Madness level, where it's like a team that was going to be a 9 seed doesn't make it, and it's like, what are we doing?
Fine, exactly. I don't give a fuck about that. This year, there was a team that earned their place in. And they were told, you're not good enough. By ESPN.
Yeah.
And Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit and Desmond Howard and those fucking assholes that all should be fired all went on and basically said they campaigned against Florida State. Yes or no? They campaigned against Florida State, Jack.
Seemed like it. They had a lot of spin, for sure.
Greg Sankey went on one of those shows and basically said, you can't have a playoff without the SEC. You absolutely fucking can. You could have had one this year without the SEC. Nobody is crying. Like, I don't think Jack is sitting at home saying, oh, my God, I'm not watching the playoff because the SEC is not in it. Nope. No. It's not worthy.
No, I don't care.
Right. You're going to watch it regardless, Jack, is my point.
Yep. Doesn't matter.
They have made this subjective, not objective.
Well, it's
13 assholes. No, 13 morons got together in a ballroom and said, Florida State can't win 2 games, so you know what? Nope, you don't deserve it.
Well, what they've done is they've invalidated the concept of a playoff and really just made it a glorified mini tournament of their favorite 4 teams.
Oh, and by the way, do you know what I noticed about those 4 teams, Jack? 2 of them, one is an SEC team, one's going to be a future SEC team, one's a current Big Ten team, the other's a future Big Ten team.
Yeah.
You basically told the ACC, you're not good enough to compete with us.
Yep, they've become CUSA.
Yep. Is the ACC CUSA? I know you make fun of the ACC all the time, and that's fine. You're great. Congratulations. No. You got fucking money. The ACC is not a CUSA team. The ACC is not a Mountain West team.
Yeah.
The ACC is not a G5 conference team, Jack.
They're not. Look, when you have a conference with Clemson, Florida State, Miami, those are powerhouse teams that have the same.
No. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Stop calling them a powerhouse team. No, stop.
They've had
stop.
their heyday. Those are. You're telling me that Clemson is not an elite franchise?
Clemson and Florida State are elite franchises.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's it.
Okay.
I am sick and fucking tired of the way that Florida State is treated. Now do you see why Florida State wants out of the ACC? Where the hell was the ACC commissioner during all this, Jack? Where was he?
I don't know.
Golfing with all the North Carolina teams? Because they don't give a shit about the teams that are not North Carolina based.
It's true. I lived it. I know.
I know you did. So, and I'm living it. That's why we want out.
Get out. You got it. Yeah,
I sent you so many things. Is there anything that I sent you that you'd like to dive into?
We talked about a lot of it. I'm not going to play like 7-minute clips of guys.
Okay.
We talked about the TV viewership. We talked about Greg McElroy.
You watched the 7-minute clip that I sent you.
No.
How dead on was that?
No, he sounded just like you. It was great. What else do we have here? Okay, so one of the things they talk about a principle of holding teams accountable for an injury or being deserving or the best team, but they didn't take into account the Michigan scandal with sign stealing. They didn't discount them any of that.
Why don't we have an ethics clause? How about an ethics clause?
Yeah.
No, we don't have that, right?
No.
It is so disgusting what they did. It is so disrespectful what the NCAA did.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear like, oh, Florida State should boycott the Orange Bowl. That's not Mike Norvell. He's not going to do that. But I don't care if we lose 37-0. I don't care. Because you know what they'll do? They'll move. They'll say, oh, we were right. No, you weren't. You weren't right at all.
Yeah.
What, because all of our guys are opting out, that means you're right? No, you're not.
Yeah. Well,
you're not right about anything.
All the bowl games are exhibition.
Nothing. Are meaningless.
They're opportunities to make money for the conferences. They're not for the players. They're not for the schools.
Don't tell me that, just go out and beat Georgia. How about you go out and fuck yourself?
Yeah, I think that's a good call. All right. I think we nailed it. I think you covered all the points. It's unfortunate. This was a good chance.
Oh, and by the way, I really don't want people to say, oh, you should stop talking about it. It's over now. I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. You can kindly kiss my ass if you say that to me. Because if this happened to you, Jack, with Maryland, don't tell me you wouldn't be taking this pretty personally.
No, it'd be very, especially.
Tell me you wouldn't.
No,
I want you to tell me with a straight face that you wouldn't.
I 100% be super upset. And in fact, Maryland is the kind of team that would happen to. They would say, if Maryland, let's say Maryland were to go out and beat Michigan and Ohio State, everyone would just say, well, those are down years for Ohio State and Michigan, and so it doesn't really count. And Maryland played a close game against, let's say, Minnesota, so we're going to discount that. And then, they played Rutgers, and Rutgers is always mediocre. So, no, Maryland is deserving of the sixth spot, and they're going to happily play in the Orange Bowl and go fuck themselves. Yeah, this is my point. I don't want to hear from people, oh, stop talking about it. You know what? No, because if this happened to your team, yeah, you'd be going crazy too. And look, we brought it up in pro sports. It'll never happen. But last night, Trevor Lawrence got hurt. Yeah. Did we now have a committee say, well, I don't know if the Jaguars sneak in, they don't really deserve to be in. Yeah, let's because they're missing their quarterback. Let's put in the Bills instead. What sport does that, Jack? Yeah, no one. There's always throughout history. There's always been the mortally wounded warrior who goes into the final battle. Right. That's a classic trope. That's from the movie Gladiator. That's correct. By the way, Karate Kid gets his leg kicked in. And he still fights that last. Part of the fun is the guys stepping up, and you see what happens. Let me say something. Do you know what the best part of sports is, Jack? When the underdog has a chance to show that they're worthy of being in there. And you know what this committee just did? They just told Florida State, you're not allowed to do that. Yeah. Because we want Alabama in there, who didn't deserve it either. Yep. Alabama didn't deserve it. What? Because they won by 3 points on some very questionable calls in that game. It's fair. So what? If Georgia had beaten Alabama, we still wouldn't have made it. That's the funny thing. We still wouldn't have made it. Because Georgia would have taken that spot. Yep. It would have been Texas. It would have been Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Texas. I guarantee you. Guaranteed. Yep.
We were never going to make it. So why did you keep us at number 4 after the Florida game? Tell me that, Jack, right now.
No, there's no idea.
It was to fuck with our players. You gave my school false hope. And you did it. And you know what the worst part about all this shit is, Jack? Do you know that these guys were laughing on the – I didn't watch – thank God I didn't watch that selection show crap. But apparently when Booger McFarland was talking, they were laughing at him when he was making his points about this. Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit. Assholes is what they are.
Yeah.
I know everyone loves Kirk Herbstreit. Oh, we love his dog. We love Kirk Herbstreit. He's so great. No, he's a shill for the SEC. And he's proven it time and time and time and time again. Don't ever ask Mike Norvell for an interview. Because Mike Norvell should tell you, as nicely as he can, you can go kick rocks and get the hell out of Tallahassee. Oh, I was told, oh, no, you can't tell ESPN they can't be in. Yes, we can. What, we have to give, are you obligated to give ESPN an interview? No, you're not.
He could do the Belichick, yes, no.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard.
I'm not
Go
sure.
give the Belichick answers. Give them one-word answers for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But do you agree with me? Don't tell me, oh, just go out and beat Georgia.
No
what?
one cares. It's exhibition.
Shut up. Yeah, exactly. Half the teams aren't going to be playing for either side.
Yeah.
So in a watered-down game, that's going to tell you, oh, well, that means Florida State deserved it. Don't you love, though, how the Alabama SEC ball guzzlers love to just be like, oh, yeah, well, Florida State just doesn't deserve it, and we're Alabama, and you should have looked better. I'm sorry. Like you said, I didn't know it became a beauty contest.
Yeah.
So what? How about all those Michigan games that were boring as hell that they were, scoring like nothing? That's okay? How about all those games that we named with Washington, who won all those games against dog shit teams? That's okay, right?
Yeah.
How about Alabama, who need a miracle play to beat bullshit Auburn?
Yeah.
That's okay. What, we don't get rewarded for winning 16-6? Why? Why?
Yeah, they should then handicap it like in Vegas. Give you guys -10 and call it a tie.
You know what we should do for Allen going forward? Every year we should just rank the top 4 teams based on 247 recruiting rankings, and those 4 teams make the playoff every year. That's it.
Well, I think with recruiting rankings, football budgets, and TV contracts.
That's it. Don't play games. We're no longer playing games. Because the committee has just said games don't matter. And I heard people saying, that's not what we were saying. Yes, you did. You basically told Florida State, you did literally your goal, the goal is to go 1-0 every week. And what did Florida State do, Jack? They went 1-0 every single week.
They did.
And they were told, you are not better than 2 teams that lost a game. Because they both have a better chance of winning the time. Because Tate Rodemaker, because of course these committee members have watched 1 game of Tate Rodemaker and just determined that's it. He can't win. I don't care that you have one of the best defenses in America. I don't care that you have 2 of the best receivers in America. I don't care that you have one of the best running backs in America. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because we need to watch Michigan run for 3 yards in a cloud of dust on every play. And J.J. McCarthy throw for 145 yards.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, I think we said it all. I think we got it all out. And if you, the listener, have any questions or comments or other points you'd love to make, feel free to drop a comment on whatever platform you're listening on. Yes.
When we post this and I share this, if anybody comments under there, Roll Tide or you didn't deserve it, I will block you. Just understand we are not like.
It's not cool. I've already blocked one person who made a comment from my personal phone. So
I know you did. Oh, at the Commanders game, which we can now. I mean, now that I've done my 35 minutes, I can talk about that. If you don't want, unless you don't want to.
I think we left it on a good note. Your team blew out Washington. Hopefully, it helps push the team towards clearing house, and it's fine.
Also, on a, not sad, but I do want to say thoughts and everything to my nephew. I'm gonna be sad now. My nephew, my 4-month-old nephew's in the hospital. He has RSV. Hopefully he's coming home in the next 48 hours.
Okay.
But just want to say that, Love you, Graham. You know, just want to say that.
Okay, very good. For Adam, this is Jack. This has been the Adam Gravitz Sports Show. Have a great one.
The Adam Gravitz Sports Show.